welcome to G Fun Facts Online. The dream of building a mechanical human is an ancient one, found in old myths and modern science fiction. Today, that dream is alive in labs around the world, with humanoid robots like Boston Dynamics' Atlas, the conversational Sophia, and Tesla's Optimus. They can walk, talk, and perform tasks that look remarkably human. But for all their sophistication, a deep gap remains between their abilities and our own. Why is that? Today, we're diving into what we can call robotic anthropology, understanding what it means to be human by looking at our attempts to copy ourselves in metal and wires. We'll explore exactly why, despite incredible progress, humanoid robots still fall short. Let's start with the physical body. The human body is a masterpiece. Our ability to move, to pick things up, and to navigate a cluttered room is a complex dance of muscles, bones, and nerves that we take for granted. Trying to replicate this has proven to be one of the greatest challenges in robotics. A classic example was Honda's ASIMO. For over 20 years, ASIMO was the poster child for humanoid robotics. It could walk, climb stairs, and even run. But its journey was also famous for its stumbles and falls, moments that starkly illustrated just how hard bipedal walking is. While later versions of ASIMO got impressively better, running at 9 kilometers per hour and even serving drinks, it could never quite overcome its fundamental limits. A 1-hour battery life was a major problem, and while it could handle some objects, it lacked the gentle, adaptive touch needed for tasks like helping the elderly, which was one of its intended goals. In 2018, Honda stopped developing ASIMO. Its story is a testament to the staggering difficulty and cost of creating a truly agile humanoid. Then you have Boston Dynamics' Atlas. You've probably seen the viral videos of Atlas doing parkour, backflips, and other jaw-dropping acrobatic feats. This robot shows a level of balance and agility far beyond ASIMO. It's achieved through a powerful hydraulic system and a control software developed over more than a decade. But even here, there are caveats. Those amazing performances are often carefully choreographed routines, practiced and refined hundreds of times in a controlled lab. Atlas is also incredibly power-hungry. That backpack it wears isn't for show. It's a massive power source that only lasts for a short time. Recently, Boston Dynamics has been working on large behavior models, or LBMs, to help Atlas perform more complex tasks, like handling a car tire. But again, these are mostly demonstrated in controlled settings. The robot's ability to operate on its own in the messy, unpredictable real world is still a long way off. And that brings us to Tesla's Optimus. Elon Musk has a grand vision for Optimus, a general-purpose robot to handle tasks that are dangerous, repetitive, and boring. We've seen demos of Optimus sorting blocks and holding a yoga pose, which suggests potential. Musk imagines millions of these robots working in factories and even our homes. However, critics are quick to point out that many of the most impressive demo videos rely on teleoperation, meaning a human is controlling the robot's movements remotely. Achieving true autonomy, especially in a dynamic factory or a cluttered home, is an enormous challenge. Not to mention the logistical nightmare of building a supply chain for the millions of parts needed for mass production. These examples show a common theme. While we can program a robot to perform an amazing physical feat, they all lack what's called embodied intelligence. It's the innate, almost unconscious way humans adapt our movements. Think about your own hand. It can deliver a powerful grip or a gentle caress, all while sending a constant stream of sensory feedback to your brain. Replicating that level of integrated dexterity and sense of touch is a monumental task. But the physical challenges are only part of the story. One of the deepest limitations is cognitive, the absence of what we call common sense. Humans navigate the world with a vast, unspoken understanding of how things work. It's not one skill, but a whole web of background knowledge, intuitive physics, and social awareness. For robots that run on explicit code and data, This is almost impossible to replicate. The common sense problem in AI has been around for decades. A robot might be programmed to identify a glass and a bottle of water. It can see them, but it lacks the simple, common sense understanding that you should pour water into a glass that's already broken. This kind of reasoning is second nature to us, but it requires a deep, contextual grasp of the world that's incredibly hard to program into an algorithm. This gap is perfectly illustrated by the conversational robot, Sophia. Developed by Hanson Robotics, Sophia is famous for its human-like face and its ability to hold conversations. It's been interviewed on major news channels and was even granted citizenship in Saudi Arabia. But if you look closely, its limitations become clear. Many of its answers are pre-scripted. Its ability to have a truly spontaneous, meaningful conversation is very limited. Linguistics experts have pointed out that Sophia often has unnatural pauses, and sometimes just ignores questions entirely, revealing its lack of genuine understanding. At its core, Sophia has been described as a sophisticated chatbot with a face, a fancy electronic puppet that creates the illusion of intelligence through clever programming. The ultimate goal for many in the field is artificial general intelligence, or AGI, an AI that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge to solve any problem a human can. But one of the biggest roadblocks to AGI is this very problem of common sense. Current AI models are fantastic at recognizing patterns in data, but they struggle with causal reasoning, understanding the why behind things. They can process billions of data points, but they don't truly understand what any of it means. This is the difference between a specialized tool and a true intelligence. And then we arrive at what might be the most human trait of all: emotional intelligence. Our ability to understand, express, and respond to emotions is the bedrock of our social lives. I can be programmed to recognize facial expressions or tones of voice, and even mimic emotional responses, but it lacks the genuine empathy and subjective experience, the actual feeling, that defines true emotional intelligence. This is a massive hurdle for robots designed for social roles, like in healthcare or education. A robot caregiver could monitor a patient's heart rate and remind them to take medication, but it can't provide the genuine comfort and compassion of a human. This emotional disconnect is a major barrier to the idea of social robots becoming true companions. This brings us to the famous concept of the uncanny valley. Coined by roboticist Masahiro Mori, it describes the unsettling, even repulsive feeling people get when they see a robot that is almost, but not quite, human. The creepiness often comes from a mismatch between a robot's realistic appearance and its unnatural, jerky movements. It's a powerful reminder of how sensitive we are to the subtle cues that signal a genuine human presence. Sophia, with its highly expressive face, is a perfect example of a robot living right on the edge of the uncanny valley. Some people are fascinated by its lifelike expressions, while others find them deeply disturbing. This divided reaction shows how complex our psychological response to human-like machines is. Creating social robots isn't just a technical problem. It requires a deep understanding of human psychology. This also raises profound philosophical questions. If a robot can be programmed to perfectly mimic emotional expression, does that mean it can actually feel? Does it have consciousness? This question touches on the very nature of sentience. Some philosophers argue that a machine complex enough could, in theory, possess a mind. Others insist that consciousness is a uniquely biological phenomenon. This debate will only get more intense as AI continues to advance. Finally, let's talk about creativity and adaptability. These are two areas where the gap between humans and machines is a chasm. AI can be trained to generate art, music, and even poetry. But this is mostly a process of pattern recognition and recombination. An AI can analyze thousands of paintings by a certain artist and create a new one in that style. But it lacks the lived experience, the emotional depth, and the intention that drives true human creativity. A robot could be programmed to write a technically perfect poem, but can it be moved to write a poem because it was struck by the beauty of a sunset or the pain of a broken heart? The answer, for now, is no. The same goes for adaptability. Robots are getting more flexible, but that flexibility is usually confined within the strict limits of their programming. An industrial robot can be reprogrammed for a new task, but it can't spontaneously invent a more efficient way to do that task on its own. Humans, on the other hand, are constantly learning, adapting, and improvising, using our past experiences to solve new problems in creative ways. The real world is messy and unpredictable, and this is where the limits of today's robots become most obvious. A robot designed for the clean, controlled environment of a factory would be completely lost in the chaos of a real-world disaster zone. The ability to think on your feet and make do with what you have is a quintessentially human skill. We've seen this fragility in action. A recent viral video showed a Unitree H1 humanoid robot malfunctioning during a test. It was suspended in the air, and when its control system was activated without its feet on the ground, it started thrashing wildly in a chaotic feedback loop. Another video showed a different robot, a Unitree G1, accidentally stepping on a child's shoe, highlighting a blind spot in its sensors. These